In this month's main test, we're a couple of days cruising the Kaikoura coast in Talley's new Scania S730, and we find out just how this big horsepower is impacting productivity expectations in this mission-critical environment. Many argue that there's no need for trucks in the 700 and above horsepower bracket. But what if the transport mission is keeping the minute-critical heart of a primary sector giant beating with zero tolerance for compliance infringement? Maybe then the arguments for big horses start to add up. You might think overseeing an internal transport operations cell where you only deal with your own people and product would be a doddle compared to the trauma of pleasing Joe Bloggs and Jane Doe in the outside world. Well, you'd be wrong. If a fishing boat is 24 hours from Bluff, then we have to get there and get it empty, said Hayden Reid, Freight Operations Manager for Talley's Limited. We have been here before with a company whose core business is not transport. However, deploying trucks to ensure that their day-to-day goals, dreams and aspirations are met certainly is. And being ankle-tapped by failed pickup or delivery promises cannot be accommodated. But Talley's take things a step further inside their transport cell. Their goal is 100% compliance. No questions, no discussion, no exceptions. There are stringent food, product and health and safety rules and expectations right throughout our business, and the truck cabs are part of our workplace. If that's the rules, that's the rules. We play by the rules, said Brad Guilford, Southern Freight Manager for Talley's. But playing by the rules doesn't mean you can't extract the maximum from the terms of engagement, and parked just outside the office at the company's Christchurch yard was the very reason for our visit. A gleaming new S730 Scania 9-axle rigid and dog trailer reefer unit, now that's a loader truck. Position, possession and pace. The words of Fred the Needle Allen, one of the great All Black coaches. Firstly, pace. You don't buy 730 horses if you're not wanting to get 30 tonnes of sensitive product where it needs to be, when you want it to be there. And if the speed limit up a big lazy climb is 90 km per hour and you have a truck that'll climb it at 89.9 km per hour rather than 54.8 km per hour, that's just fine and nothing to be embarrassed about in any way. And remember, compliance is key at Talley's. Secondly, it's possession. You need to entrust all those horses with someone trustworthy. Ideally a bloke who's well known to the company, the sort of guy who can put 1,000,000 kilometres on a high-end truck without mishap. And last of all, position. Te Waiponamu is a beautiful place when it comes to extracting the most out of big jiggers like the Scania. Many of the climbs you can either hoe into with a little bit of pace on, or they're just generally longer and more testing than their North Island counterparts. The dominant task with the new Scania eventually will be a daily Ashburton to Blenheim and return. It is a 780 kilometre rounder that is currently unachievable on the account of ongoing remedial work on the Kaikoura coast and also infrastructure projects in Christchurch. The Scania is a truck bought with the future in mind, no question about that. We are then introduced to the S730's driver, Owen Thornley. A 12-year Talley's veteran, he's just come off his beloved DD15 powered Freightliner Argosy, having done all of its 1,000,000 plus kilometres. Go figure, that's just the sort of driver we said would be ideal for the big Scania. The ease with which this machine got its permitted 53,860 kilograms rolling was absolutely mind-blowing to say the least. There's absolutely no arguing that the DC16 and 730 horsepower trim is a brute of an engine, outputting a whopping 545 kilowatts, 730 horsepower at 1900 RPM and 3,500 newton meters, 2,581 pound-foot of torque. Behind it is the company's 14-speed GRS 0925R OptiCruise AMT with retarder. It's fully air suspended with Scania AD400 SAP hub reduction bogies and diff locks. And as for the Scania NTG interior, it is a familiar hotel to us now. The obvious thing in the S-cab is the entirely flat floor. Driving position is superb and millimetres are everything in ergonomics, and a few tweaks in the new NTG have brought the driver closer to the windscreen and door, making fabulous even more fabulous. Visibility to the front is fantastic, with left and right clearance is as good as you're going to find in any mirrored cab over. Fit, finish and trim and materials are bar setting, both durable and of high quality, typical of the levels that we receive from the big Euro marques. On the Blenheim run, Owen is nearly always fully loaded the entire time, and taking into account the big burner, load factor, gross weight and even the tear weight of around 25 tonne into consideration, the life-to-date average of 1.84 km per litre is impressive. Again, Euro 6 appears to raise the bar on fuel consumption in whichever category it pops up in. Owen then wheeled the S730 into the company's cool stores and Riverlands on the outskirts of Blenheim, where he unloaded the full load of fries, not quite 29 tonne of them, before heading to another Talley's factory in Renwick for his reload. This gave us time to reflect on the trip up from Ashburton in the mighty S730 and ask ourselves the question, is there really a need for trucks in the 700 and above horsepower bracket? Absolutely there is. In the right application, and in the hands of the Owen Thornleys of this world, trucks like this and productivity go together like peas, carrots and corn and a bag of Talley's frozen mixed veggies. To catch the full story on this new Scania S730 for Talleys, then grab yourself a copy of the big combined December 2020, January 21 issue of New Zealand Trucking Magazine on sale now. And at this time, from all of us here at New Zealand Trucking, we would like to pass on our season's greetings to you all, as well as our best wishes for the new year. Have a restful, enjoyable summer break with the whānau, take care of each other out there, and travel safe.
Ho, 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 ho.